How about this? In an expanded postseason, these next few weeks will be vitally important. And in an expanded postseason with 12 teams in, you have to wonder, who are the sellers going to be? There's only 7 teams. Here they are. There are only 7 teams more than 7 out. So, again, you've got 12 teams in. Many others say, oh, no, we're contending. It's a long season. So who are the sellers going to be? So we got White Sox, Pirates, Cardinals, Rockies, Royals, Nationals, and A's. They're the only teams that are kind of out. So, Hannah, start with you. Give me one team that should be realistic and blow it up and be sellers.
Okay, I told you right before we started, I didn't know the framing was going to be blow it up.
Blow it up.
But I am pushing for the Mets to be more aggressive than they want to be. I think there's a lot of
trade in or trade out?
Trade out.
Well, that's blowing it up.
It's not blowing.
If they trade Scherzer and Verlander?
Not both of them. They have a lot of expiring contracts. David Robertson, like Tommy Pham, a contender would love to have Tommy Pham.
Yes.
Here's the thing about the Mets. I think a lot of people out there are saying, let's see how they play over the next week, the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe they add, if they're looking good, they could add. With what? Billy Epler has shown that he is not willing to trade his top prospects, and his boss, Steve Cohen, has emphasized repeatedly how much he wants to be growing the farm system at the same time as he is contending. Last time Steve Cohen spoke to the media, one of the things that I thought he said that was really interesting was, like, if we don't improve, and I'm looking at 2024 with a similar team 1 year older, probably not a great place to be. I think they have to be getting younger. And to get younger, you have to unload some of those expiring veteran contracts. They have a lot of young players right now that are looking really good, and maybe you get them a few extra at-bats, and maybe you still make a little fun run for it after you unload it.
I think you have to choose, though. Even you're being a wobbly GM. Either you are you're not blowing it up, but you're either in it or you're out. If you're trading your top guys, you're not winning. They're not winning now with all their guys.
That seems like all the more reason to unload. I think that the Mets are if they are not aggressive, they weren't aggressive enough last year in some ways. That's what got them to this point. This year is the way that they handled the deadline last year. So
you're saying Mets. Okay, say Mets. Who you got?
Interesting. I'm going to pick the White Sox. You know, I think a guy like Pedro Grifol, it takes usually 3 or 4 years to kind of reboot that roster. Given this first year, I think he saw what he has. Look, I think Pedro Grifol is a guy that's the perfect guy for the White Sox and that team, but I certainly feel like it's time to kind of reboot and just see what happens. Look, I don't think Dylan Cease is going anywhere. I don't think Roberts is going anywhere. Maybe possibly Jimenez might not go anywhere as well, but everybody else, for me, is full trade on.
You're doing the right thing here, because I saw John Heyman's piece in the Post last week on saying that the White Sox have a core 4 they want to keep, and then there's guys they'll sell, and then the guys in the middle they'd also like to keep. I'm like, you got to decide what you're doing.
No, I think even the guys in the middle got to go.
Winning.
Yeah, I think even guys in the middle have to go. I think a guy like Graveman.
There. I think you're right. I think you have to actually, and I love Eloy Jimenez, but he's attractive out there.
Very attractive.
You want to really reboot things, keep Luis Robert, and everybody else can go.
Yeah, I think, yes, Monty Grandal is in. I mean, pretty much the whole field is in except Cease and Roberts. That's kind of where I stand on.
See, I'm ready to go.
I like Cease. I think Cease is really good.
It had a 3-year run. It has not won. No, I'm with
you know what? To be honest with you, they've had a 20-year run, and it hasn't worked. So if you really have to look at yourself in that organization, you have to look at yourself top to bottom, from ownership all the way to the minor league system. I mean, you got to stay to yourself. We got to reboot, and we got to reboot hard.
See, that's blowing it up. That's blowing it up.
Are you kidding? You went with the much lower degree of difficulty picking the White Sox.
Everyone's complaining here. Let's bring in Bob Costas. I'm sure it'll be much better. Bob, where are you? There you go. Bob's over there. Bob, come on in.
Don't be so sure.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Who should be realistic, I guess? Because, again, we put up 7 teams that are basically should reveal themselves as being out. Who do you think should actually start that reboot process now?
Well, you guys touched all the bases, so that leaves me with the Cardinals. And we said this before. They can't break faith with that large and loyal fan base. They can't blow it up. People talk about Arenado or Goldschmidt. That's just not going to happen. They've got to get some pitching, though. And if they believe that Jack Flaherty will be healthy, then he can't be on that list. And if they believe that Jordan Montgomery is more like the guy they got last year from the Yankees and performed so well down the stretch, he can't be on that list. I'm thinking of their surplus of outfielders. I'm thinking of Dylan Carlson or Tyler O'Neill or Lars Nootbaar. Those aren't blockbuster deals, but what they have to do in this offseason, they got to wave the white flag implicitly, even in the National League Central for this year. You look at next year, if you've got Arenado and Goldschmidt and Jordan Walker, their problem is not their lineup. Their problem is pitching. And if they can get some pitching back, even if it's not a blockbuster, those are the moves that they should make. And before I forget, nice reference by John Thorne to baseball back in the day being the lightning sport because faster than cricket. BK, the Ice Age was faster than cricket, where they stop at 4 PM for tea.
Right. There's something to be said for that, actually. As you
Yeah,
you
I
throw
went
that
to a
out there.
cricket match.
Might like that.
I went to a cricket match once,
Yeah.
and I still can't figure out what the hell they were doing.
I thought you'd be telling them how to play the sport. I thought that would be that's what Bob Costas would do. I'm going to push back a little bit. I think the Cardinals could refuel much better while not bottoming out. They have the 2 aircraft carriers, Bob. I'm saying Arenado and Goldschmidt. They have real value. They're older. They're expensive. I would keep the Lars Nootbaars of the world. You don't think that's the way to go?
Well, it'd have to be an incredible return for either one of them.
You could get
Arenado, I should have checked on Goldschmidt. I'm assuming Goldschmidt has a no trade. Arenado has a no trade. So where would, let's say, Arenado go? The Dodgers have a deep farm system. The Dodgers could give the Cardinals quite a return, and Arenado might, in theory, say, yeah, I'll go to the Dodgers. They're going to be in the playoffs. They're always going to be good. That makes sense to me. But you've got a very slim area of possibility for something like that, where the return would justify, and then having to explain it to your fan base would justify making a move with someone like Arenado.
Right. As I often throw in, in the real world, the preface it by saying, because in the real world, these things are a little more difficult.